Hey, what's going on everybody, and welcome back to the Whiskey Cove. And on today's episode, we look at the whiskies and bourbons to be released in the month of December. Run the video. All right then, folks, thank you so much and welcome back to another exciting episode here on the Whiskey Cove. We will be talking about some of the more interesting and maybe sometimes rare releases of whiskey in the month of December. We are right at the end of the year, folks. Some of these whiskies may have come out a little bit earlier than December, but you're going to start seeing them show up more now in stores this month. With that being said, I wanted to keep some bottles of whiskey back specifically for this video and for this Black Friday week. And that is because we have released our first ever Whiskey Cove single barrel. So this is the first bottle almost to talk about that has been released this month, because we have some of these bottles available on the Whiskey Cove's website. It's Whiskey Cove's Doc's Figgy Pudding, made by Doc Swinson's. It's a 7, close to 8-year-old bourbon, and then finished in a 27-year-old Armagnac cask. Really awesome and really unique, and it's my first pick. There's never going to be another pick. So some of you folks have already noticed on the website that we had sold out, and that's because we wanted to keep some back for this video and Black Friday event. So if you want to get one of these bottles, if you want to support the Whiskey Cove, you can absolutely do that, because we posted some more to the website. And as it is Black Friday, we're going to be running a little bit of a special here. So if you get 2 of these bottles, we'll give you a free Whiskey Cove glass. If you get 3, we'll give you 2 Whiskey Cove glasses for free. But if for whatever reason you maybe want to buy some Christmas gifts, or you really want to support the channel and get 4 bottles, then what we'll do is we'll give you the whole 4 glass set, the full Whiskey Cove glass set. There isn't a limit, but of course if you purchase 6, we're probably going to cancel it. But if you purchase 4 bottles, you might want to give them for Christmas presents. You might really want to support the Whiskey Cove. We will give you that 4 glass set for free. Again, if you buy 2, we'll give you 1 glasses. If you buy 3, we will give you 2 glasses. And this is the bottle. Very excited by it. There's a QR code on the screen right now, and also at the end, all the information is going to be down below in the description. And that is the first bottle of whiskey that you need to be aware that is dropping right now. Go over after this video to go and purchase yourself a bottle. With that being said, we have a couple of really more interesting bottles as well, which I'm very excited about. The first is Jack Daniel's, the single barrel, part of the single barrel series, like the barrel proof stuff. And that is because they are putting out a Tanyard Hill Rye, and this has started dropping already. Almost looks like a cross between the Jack Daniel's single barrel proof rye and Jack Daniel's Coy Hill. It has some greens, it has some red. You can see the bottle on the screen now. This is going to be coming in on a variation of a couple of different proofs. It's going to be between 130.2 proof or 148.8 proof, so that's going to vary a little bit. Mash bill is 70% rye, 18% corn, and then 12% malted barley. Age is going to be non-age stated. We don't know the exact age on this bottle. It was never disclosed. The price is going to be $80. The only drawback is it is going to be a 700 milliliter bottle, a little short of the 750 milliliter bottles that we all learned to expect. Distribution is going to be nationally. Like I said, you might already seen these showing up in stores already. However, now as we get closer to Christmas time and some stores keep some stuff back, you should be able to see more of them. Flavor notes: banana, pear, apples, vanillas, toasted nuts, dark chocolate, and then if you add a little bit of water, it brings out some cherry cola, maple oak flavors. So as this is a Jack Daniel's product, even with the high ABV, high proof, it's going to probably be drinking very approachable. I've heard very good things about this bottle. If you're able to find it for MSRP for $80, it's a bit of a no-brainer. Definitely a bottle that if I see it, I'm going to pick it up straight away. And that brings us on to bottle number 2. And then there's a new release by Remus, and that is Remus Gatsby Reserve of 2025. Remus being owned by MGP. This is more of their own in-house darling, one of the most exclusive bottles that MGP kind of put out under their in-house brand, that is Ross and Squibb. The Remus Gatsby is an annual special release. Proof on this bad boy is going to be 102.8 proof or 51.4% ABV, so right in the middle of the park there. Nothing too high and not low. Mash bill is going to be 75% corn, 21% rye, and then 4% malted barley. So a decent amount of rye in the mash bill. You might be able to classify this as a little bit of a high rye bourbon with that 21% rye. Age on this is going to be 15 years old. So you're getting a heavy age statement on this. Maybe that's why they didn't want to put the proof up too much, because sometimes if you have a lot of proof and a lot of age, you can sometimes get an over-oaked product. Not all the time, but sometimes. So maybe the 102.8 proof could be right where they really wanted it. Price on this, it's going to kick up a little bit in price. This is a $200 bottle. Oftentimes you'll see that price be more than $200. What I've seen is $200 to $250, and it comes in a really nice fancy bottle. It does look the part, but again, for $200, if it's worth it, only you can decide at home. Distribution is going to be nationwide. It's going to be an ultra release, but I think this year, more so than years gone by, you'll probably see it. I've seen the 2024 one at times throughout the year still available. So it's not something that's going to be like a snap purchase if you like. Flavor profile is going to be apple pie spice, antique oak, red fruit. Palate is going to be like jam, raspberries, dried apricots, some tobacco and molasses, and a bit of a port wine finish there. So very jammy with some tobacco spices meddled throughout there too. The taste and profile is really on point with a whiskey that I like. I've never bought the Remus Gatsby Reserve before. I've had like the Remus Cast Strength. That was very similar actually to some Stag Junior that I've had, like red hot cinnamon type flavors. I don't know if I'm gonna buy this. This is a bottle where I would like to put in if I'm at a bar for a reasonable price. I will purchase a pour of this to support my local bar, and also before I dive in and spend $200 to $250. Next up, we have a new release from the Wyoming Whiskey Company, and that is Buffalo Bill Cody. This is a 2025 release of this bottle. ABV and proof is going to be 96 proof or 48% ABV. Mash bill, like a lot of the stuff that Wyoming Whiskey put out, isn't disclosed. They do meddle around with regular bourbon rye malted barley mash bills, but they also do a lot of wheated bourbon mash bills there. And their wheated bourbon mash bills is the mash bill that I like. However, I wasn't able to find out if that was what they were using with this. Maybe if I'm able to get a bottle and try it, I might be able to pick up that wheat in the bottle, and then I might be able to let you folks know. However, the price on this is going to be $80. Yes, that's still a lot of money. However, it's not like a $200, $250 bottle that even if I don't like it, it's gonna go into waste. But $80 is still a lot of money. Age is gonna be 6 years old. So their own stuff, 6 years, that's not too bad. I think Wyoming Whiskey makes some really great stuff, and a lot of their stuff isn't ultra aged anyway. So you get a pretty good, well-rounded, put-together product from Wyoming Whiskey. And they're in like they're up there in absolutely in the middle of nowhere up in Wyoming. I think that the town is like less than like 500 population. So really awesome distillery to support because that community and that distillery is just everything that's up there. The distribution on this is going to be mostly nationwide. There's going to be roughly around 40 different states. If you're in Hawaii, Alaska, it might be a little bit more difficult to find there. Next up, we have a new release from the Jim Beam Distillery, and that is the last Booker's release of the year is here, and that is the 2025-04 Phantom Pipes is going to be the name of this. The proof this year is going to be the proof on this release, I should say, is going to be 63.2% ABV or 126.4 proof. Mash bill is going to be Jim Beam's high corn mash bill, undisclosed at the time I was looking at this, but sometimes when you buy the bottles it comes with a bit of a card, and sometimes that can break down some of the more intricacies of the whiskey. However, what I will say is the age statement is 7 years and 6 months, which generally what I find with Bookers is that they're normally around 6 years old or so. Rarely do you see them above the 7-year mark. So 7 years and 6 months is one of the more older ones of recent times that I can remember. Price is at $100. We've seen this bottle tick up quite a lot since we've been doing the Whiskey Cove. I think when we started the Whiskey Cove, it might have been around 70 to 75. we're up to $100. Yes, again, a little bit more age statement. The proof on this is pretty good too. Is it as good as the annual releases from Booker's, like the reserves that they did last year? That's to be seen, but if you're a Booker's fanatic, this is a bottle that you're definitely going to get. But $100 is what it's going to cost you. Nationwide distribution. And I do see Booker sitting on shelves much more, of course, like a lot of whiskey right now, more so than ever. But Booker's especially, because it's one of those bottles that smaller stores have a tendency of pricing it up a little bit because they don't see it as much. And then when they get this bottle in a box and it looks very fancy, they generally price it a little higher, so it kind of sticks around a little more. Flavor notes are going to be vanilla, bacon spice with a heavy oak tone, warm and a really nice long finish there. And staying with the Jim Beam Distillery, another new release, and one of the annual releases, because we're in the second edition here, and that is Little Book, the Infinite Edition 2. So the edition 1 from last year was the first release of Little Book, of this specific, the Infinite lineup. The proof on this is going to be 120.8 proof, or 60.4% ABV. Mash bill is undisclosed. Again, it's a Beam blend, and maybe if you buy it on that card, it might give you more information. But when I was putting this list together, I wasn't able to find it. So this is really interesting, this next part, the blend components. So how they blended this whiskey, they used a 7-year, a 10-year, and 22-year-old bourbons to blend it. And they also kept some edition 1 from last year, some of that blend around, and added it to this year. So you get a 7, a 10, and a 22-year blended bourbon, and also some from edition 1, which I think is pretty cool. It's almost, it's like keeping with the trends. I wonder if the plan is to constantly keep doing that, because it is like the infinite, like an infinity bottle. So I wonder if they'll do that again next year with 1 and 2 batch blends. So that would be really interesting. But also, you're keeping a lot of bourbon just kind of sitting around at that point. Distribution is going to be limited release, but nationwide again. But price on this is going to be $200. A lot of money. Traditionally, I haven't been a big fan of Little Book. I just think that sometimes the mash bills and the age just doesn't really add up to the price tag. However, this one, it gets pretty close to that in my opinion. And again, this isn't the regular Little Book that they put out. This is the infinite one. This is kind of like the creme de la creme, the best that they have in the warehouse, or the best that they can blend. Flavor profile is going to be like toasted oak, caramel notes with red fruit, leather, some citrus, and pepper as well, a little bit of pepper spice on the back end. And it's going to be a nice long finish from what I was able to find. But again, $200 if you're a Booker's or a Little Book fan. That might be easy money for you. But for me, one of those where I might have to try it at a bar. And then next up, we have a new release from the Sazerac Distillery. And as you know, in the last video, we talked a little bit about the Sazerac 100 proof, 50% ABV or 100 proof. And they're taking it a step further. Not only did they hear us calling for Sazerac, which is normally 90 proof, the regular one, to be at 100 proof because we need a bit more of a bite, well, they're bringing out a full proof version of Sazerac, which I think is pretty darn interesting, if I don't say so. 125 proof or 62.5% ABV. I wonder how different this is going to be to like a Thomas Handy, because I can only assume it's probably the same mash bill. Maybe the age is obviously going to maybe be a little bit different, but what is a Handy, like 6 years old, 7 years old? And a Sazerac rye is probably going to be 4 or 5 years. I'm just speculating at that point. And this is going to be traditional Sazerac rye style mash bill, undisclosed, like a lot of stuff that comes out of Sazerac, a Buffalo Trace, that sort of style. Age is non-age stated, so we don't know the exact age. Price on this is $40. Really respectable. This is probably going to be like a poor man's Handy, I can imagine. I haven't got into I'm pointing on my shoulder here because I have the 100 proof Sazerac there ready for a review. I haven't got into it yet. I'm very excited about that. I'm very excited to use that in a cocktail, because that's specifically what they talked about when they released it. And it's kind of like the same with this. They wanted a whiskey that not only drunk really well and neat at a higher ABV, at a higher proof, but they wanted something that really became the star of an awesome cocktail. Yes, sometimes you want whiskey in a cocktail just to balance everything else out so it doesn't kind of take over and consumes the cocktail. But for us whiskey drinkers, maybe we want that. Maybe we want more of a whiskey presence in a cocktail. I think this bottle could be that for $40. It's a bottle that if I see, I'm going to pick it up. Absolutely. Nationwide rollout. We're probably going to see it in a lot of different places. Flavor notes, caramel, toasted oak, orange peel, herbal spice, floral rye notes, typical Sazerac rye profile on that one. Very excited about that one. I think that Buffalo Trace Sazerac did some really great stuff with like the benchmark lineup. They kind of did the same thing with that, where they did bonded, they did fall proof, and obviously they have the regular benchmark, and they kind of adapted that and doing the same with Sazerac. I wonder if we'll see maybe a single barrel or a top floor version. Well, that is some 5 awesome whiskeys, and 6, of course, if you're counting the Whiskey Cove's single barrels. Again, limited supply on these. When they're gone, they're gone. We will not see them again. There will never be another Whiskey Cove single barrel for the first time. This is the first one. There will never be one again. They will get there in time for Christmas. It is Doc's Figgy Pudding. It is sweet on the palate. It is spicy. It is very well balanced. It goes together with some really great food. You can smoke a cigar with it as well. It's the perfect whiskey in my humble opinion. All the information is on the screen and on the link there as well. Again, the Black Friday deal. If you buy 2 of those, we'll give you a free glass. If you buy 3, we'll give you 2 free glasses. If you buy 4 for some Christmas presents for some folks, we'll give you the full set absolutely free. So thank you so much for watching today's video. Very excited about single barrel, very excited with the future of the Whiskey Cove here. But most importantly, during this Thanksgiving season, I am very grateful, very happy that everybody tunes in to watch my videos, because without you folks at home buying the whiskey, supporting me, Patreons, I wouldn't be able to do what I do. So I appreciate you allowing me to do this hobby. I hope you all have a great Thanksgiving tomorrow. Eat a lot of turkey, drink some awesome whiskey, but more importantly, spend it with those closest to you, the loved ones. Hug them just a little bit more and just make some incredible memories with them. Thank you so much for watching today's video, folks. As we drink through the world's whiskeys, one glass at a time, I'll be cracking a few of those Doc Swinson's bottles tomorrow. Cheers.